Good morning, grade 10s. This is the work of day 20. Today we're going to look at financial maths, specifically at inflation and population growth. These notes you can find on the website. When we work with inflation, you must know that we will always use the compound interest formula. Let's look at an example. In January 1958, the average home cost about $72,000. Assuming an average annual inflation rate of 8.6% from 1985 up to 2015, that is a period of 30 years, what did the same house cost in January 2015? So because we are working with inflation, I know I must use the compound interest formula. P will be the initial cost of the house, which is 72,000. I will be your inflation rate, which is 8.6%, and N will then be 30 years. So you substitute it into your formula, and then you will get an answer of 855,514.26 Rand. That is the amount that you will pay in January 2015 if the house cost 72,000 Rand in 1985. Now for population growth. When we work with population growth, we always use the compound interest formula, but we change it a little bit so that it suits us better. Instead of just writing A, we will now write P future, which is the future size of the population. Instead of just writing P, we will write P present, which is the present size of the population. R is the average population growth rate expressed as a percentage, and N will still be the number of years. Let's look at an example. The mid-year population in South Africa in 2014 was 54,02,200. Calculate the size of the population in 5 years' time if the average population growth rate is 1.56%. Alright, because we work with population growth, I will then use that formula. My present population will then be that 54,02,200. R will be the 1.56, which I will substitute in the place of R, and N will be 5. Now, if you type that into your calculator, you will get an answer with a comma. 58,347,857,54. But that can't be. We can't have a comma 5 person, right? Therefore, we just forget about the commas and we will say that the population size will approximately be 58,347,857 people. That will be the population in 5 years' time. Let's look at your homework for today. The homework for today is exercise 3, which is on page 213 in your textbook, number D and E, as well as exercise 5, which is on page 216, number B and C. But please try the homework on your own first and then come back to the video to check your answers. Question D. A university fees for a student studying a B degree are on average about 34,000 per year. Assuming an average inflation rate of 5% per annum, what will the fees be in 20 years' time? Alright, so we are working with inflation. We use the compound interest rate formula for that. P, my initial amount, will be 34,000. I is the 5% that you can write as a fraction or as a decimal. And N will be 20 because they want to know what the university fees will be in 20 years' time. Substitute that into your formula and work it out with your calculator and you will get an answer of 90,212.12 cents. Question E. 40 years ago, John deposited 5,000 Rand in a bank, paying him 3% per annum compound interest. The average inflation rate over the 40 years was 6%. Question 1, they ask us how much money will he have saved after 40 years? Alright, The bank is offering him 3% per annum compound interest. Therefore, I use the compound interest rate formula. P will be the 5,000 rand that he deposited into the bank. I will be 3% and N will be 40 for 40 years. Substitute that into your formula and you can work it out with your calculator. So after that 40 years, he will have 16,310 rand and 19 cents in the bank. Question 2. Now they ask us to calculate the buying power of 5,000 rand after 40 years. Remember, they are looking for, we are going to work with the inflation rate now. So again, it is compound interest formula that we are going to use. P will be 5,000. I will now be the 6% because that is the inflation rate, and N still 40. Substitute that into your formula and you will find that your answer will be 51,428 rand and 59 cents. At question number 3, they ask us to comment on the value of John's savings after 40 years. Guys, John's savings would be way below the buying power of that 51,428 rand and 59 cents. He will only have in the bank 16,310 rand. What can we learn from this question? It is important to know that when you invest some money in a bank, you must make sure that the interest that the bank is offering you must be more than the inflation rate. Otherwise, it won't be a good investment. Let's look at exercise 5. For exercise 5, it is on page 216 in your textbook. You have to do question B and C. At B, they ask us, or they tell us that the number of people in the USA at June 2014 was estimated at 318,857,056. If the average population growth rate was 1.42%, calculate the estimated population size of the USA in June 2017. Alright, so we are working with population growth, therefore I use that formula. So the present population is that 318 million. I will be 1.4%, 1.42%, which you can put in the place of I as a fraction or a decimal. And N will be 3 years because it's 3 years from June 2014 until June 2017. You substitute that into your formula and you work it out with your calculator and you will get an answer with a comma. Now guys, remember what I said? We can't get a 6 person. So please round off, just forget about the commas and say that your final answer will be the estimated population size of the USA in June 2017 will be 332,634,162 people. Question C. The number of black rhinos in Africa during 2012 was estimated at 5,487. If the average population growth rate of black rhinos is 4.9% per annum, calculate how many rhinos were there in Africa in 2007. So now we have to work back. Again, it's population growth, therefore I use that formula. But now guys, the 5,487, I have to substitute into the future population because we want to work out what was the present population in 2007. All right, so the 5,487 will go into the place of P future. My percentage, the I, will be 4.9% that you can write as a decimal or as a fraction. And then N will be 5 years because it's 5 years from 2007 until 2012. Now we have to get the present population alone, that P present. So therefore I have to get rid of that bracket. And by doing that, I have to divide with the whole bracket on the other side. Please don't work here with decimals. Keep the bracket as it is. Don't round off too quickly in your calculations. Now you can put that into your calculator. the sum on the left-hand side of the equal sign, and you will get an answer with a comma again. But we can't get a comma 7 rhino. Therefore, just forget about the commas and say that your answer will be 4,319 rhinos in 2007. Please feel free to ask your math teacher if you don't understand something. We are here to help you, and I hope you have a good day.